aspects of the Guantanamo Bay facility. I'm joined from New York by Gabor, Rona, who's International Legal Director of the organization Human Rights First. Thanks for joining us. Let me ask you first, what do you think is going to be the future of Guantanamo? Despite the president saying before he became president that he would be closing it, do you think it will ever be closed?
It will have to be closed at some time. I don't think the United States can bear the responsibility of holding people without trial indefinitely forever. It is just too much of an outrage in relationship to the requirements of international law, the requirements of the U.S. Constitution, and also the traditions of fair treatment and fair trial that the United States wants to be seen to uphold to the rest of the world.
Well, let's move on to the military commissions. They have now resumed. We had the trial of Abdel al-Rahim al-Nashiri, who's accused of being the mastermind behind the bombing of the USS Cole. That started earlier this week. Now, President Obama initially promised to stop these military commissions. Has anything changed in the way these trials are conducted so that it can now go ahead?
Well, the first trial under the Obama administration has not really started yet. But there's no indication that there will be anything significantly different from that which occurred under the Bush administration. The rules are essentially the same, the procedures are essentially the same, and the real problem is that the very guts of the military commission is based on an idea that we should be putting people into these military trials because we don't want to give them fair trials in the regular U.S. judicial system, which, by the way, has convicted approximately 400 individuals of terrorism cases since 9/11. Those traditional federal courts are completely reliable, whereas the military commissions have been a sham and a disaster from the beginning, and I'm afraid will continue to be so even under the Obama administration.
Now, here's something else about those trials. As I understand it, if we take the man who's currently going to go on trial now in a military commission, even if he's found not guilty, he remains in prison.
That's correct. The Obama administration's position is that as essentially a detainee in armed conflict, he can be detained for the duration of the armed conflict, even if he's found not guilty at a trial. Now, in a normal situation, in a normal kind of war, there's a certain logic to that. You can detain people even if they're not war criminals, just if they're fighters. The problem with the al-Nashiri case is that he's being charged for conduct that is alleged to have occurred even before the United States claimed to be at war with al-Qaeda and the Taliban, events that occurred before 9/11/2001. So the idea of charging him with war crimes in a military commission, again, is absurd. It's a violation of everything that the United States says it stands for.
Gabor, Rona, thank you for joining us, sir.
You're welcome.
And that is all from the team here in Washington. Now back to Felicity in